Jared and Jacob join us for Help Monday, the first one of the brand new year, and Happy New Year. Y'all got paper strode out everywhere this morning.
Well, we want people to think we can read.
Okay, all right. Well, Happy New Year to you both.
We're just nervous.
Yeah, I understand.
Happy New Year.
Got your cheat notes there and
That's
stuff.
right.
But good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Hey, before we get to what we're talking about this morning, I mentioned to you before we started the interview about several churches, not having services because of illnesses in their church. What's going on with that, do you think?
Well, there's a lot of everything going around. I mean, that's a good question. And there's a lot of every kind of infection you can think of. COVID, flu, RSV, stomach virus, you name it. The good news is, and I didn't realize churches were shutting down until you just told us that, but the good news is that none of these seem to be serious illnesses. We've had waves before.
Unless it's affecting you.
That's a good point.
It's only serious when it's my problem. Right.
I don't know of anybody who's passed away from any of this. I guess is what I'm getting at. And we've had serious waves of illness in the past, but this doesn't seem like that. So to me, that's good news. People get sick every year this time of year.
Yeah, when you mention COVID, that just throws another kink in the armor, because it's seemingly under control now, don't you think?
I mean, it's one of those things where if you want to, read the news reports, the numbers are really high, but the deaths aren't.
Yeah.
They're so it's no fun.
That's a good thing.
My 90-some-odd-year-old grandmother has it right now, and she feels rotten.
Yeah.
But as of right now, she just feels rotten.
Yeah.
Kind of in the sentence.
Hey, I've made them every year. I don't think I've ever kept them. The New Year's resolutions. Y'all keep your resolutions?
I just want to say that you are perfect just the way you are.
Yeah, why would you need a resolution, Jim?
Checks in the mail on that one.
Right, thank you.
Also, I have my first New Year's resolution is to find a new team to root for since Auburn's been losing so much. So I think I'm going for TCU tonight.
So why are we talking about New Year's resolutions?
Well, it's that time of year, and you guys have probably already made some. I've made some. I have to tell you, I haven't lived up to them.
Probably already failed them, right?
Probably already failed. But if you're thinking about making some changes that will better your health, we got some suggestions for you this morning. This is the time, and so we want to try to help you.
Losing weight is one thing, and keeping it off is another, Jacob.
Losing weight and keeping it off is our first New You resolution. Here's the good news. Regardless of your amount of weight or how much you lose, losing even 5 to 10% of your total body weight can make huge differences in your health. Now, you may need to lose more than 5 to 10%, but getting started at all and being moderately successful at it is a huge step. It lowers your risk of heart disease, diabetes, blood pressure, osteoarthritis, any number of other diseases we come on here every month and talk about. We're on those lists that always says something near the bottom of, hey, just be healthy and lose weight, right? And so we're trying to make things better for you, easier for you, a better year, a better life. Losing 5 to 10% of your body weight is a huge first start, but you got to do it right. And that's start out with a goal of losing 1 to 2 pounds per week. That is a maintainable number that you can do throughout the year. Keep up a good, healthy, steady pace. No crash diets, no fad diets, no buy this crazy gummy that you saw an advertisement for that'll just melt the fat away and kill your liver in the process.
Those gummies supposed to do a lot of things,
None of that garbage. None of that.
There's a gummy for everything.
None of that. None of that. Lose 1 to 2 pounds per week all year long, healthy and maintainable. Huge differences in your overall health and feeling.
We do see more eating establishments and more families looking to eat better with healthy diets this year.
Yeah, you can look at not just what you eat, but how you eat. When you're looking at what you eat, and we talk about this every month as well, it seems like that every single disease you're looking at, every single condition you're trying to prevent, changing your diet is helpful. And what you eat is important, right? Fruits, vegetables, things that are lower in fat, lower in calories, fiber, things that will make you feel full and yet not give you the unhealthy content that a lot of things we love to eat, right? But also how you eat. Not this is a tough one for me. Not eating so fast, right? The slower you eat, the better your body can signal itself that it's full, and you can realize it's time for me to stop eating. So again, I'm a hypocrite on this one. We're pharmacists. We like to eat fast and get back to work, but that will help you at least with portion control, the time it takes you to eat.
You know, when I'm with a group of people dining, I notice that I'm finished with my meal and they're just getting through their salad. I don't know what the deal on
You're
that
just taking stuff off their plate when they're not looking.
That's right.
Oh, but sit less and move more.
All right, so third one, sit less, move more. You know, the easy thing to put in there is, well, you need to exercise a ton. That's the third one, right? Exercise a ton. No, we're going to be realistic today. We're going to get some things done and help you out. So we're going to start with this. Sit less, move more. Any amount of physical activity is better than none. Any more than you currently do is better than what you currently do. Any amount of physical activity. And simple ways to do that is not to start by saying, I'm going to go to the gym 5 days a week. I'm going to be there for 2 hours. Now you'll last about a week, and all the people that actually go to the gym all the time are going to be mad that you're taking up the equipment. You know, you don't have to do that. You know, if you get to that, great, good for you. I hope you do. But start with just doing more. You know, take the stairs instead of the elevator if you're going up 1 or 2 flights. Park further away from the front door at the grocery store if you can walk it. You know, simple things like while you're sitting and watching TV, get up and do some stretches, some movements, whatever. You know, if you need ideas for what you can do while you're sitting at the house with no weights or equipment, call us. We'll be happy to tell you. But sit less, move more. While you have been doing periods of inactivity such as watching TV, use those as times to move a little. Let's just get some more movement, get a little more healthy. Any is beneficial.
You know, I got an idea about sitting less and moving more.
Okay.
When we're watching TV, get rid of the remote. Get up and change the
Get up and
channel
change it,
yourself.
yeah.
That's what we used to do when we were kids. You know,
Nice,
we didn't
yeah.
have any remotes or anything like that.
Well, when we were kids, it was because our parents said, hey, boy, get up and change channel.
You do what you're told to do. Yeah. And a lot of people are doing this too, Jared. They're scheduling their annual physicals and checkups this time of the year.
It never ceases to amaze me the number of people who simply don't go to a physician at all.
That's true.
Hopefully most of you guys watching this show have a primary physician. If you don't, I strongly encourage you to get one. And if you do, to schedule an annual checkup. And I don't necessarily mean just going for blood work. The blood work's important. You do need to have your numbers checked, of course. But I mean an actual physical exam. An old school physical exam, like you barely get anymore at the doctor. You need that once a year. And so your physician will look for things that can be prevented. Not just to find things that are currently wrong, but maybe things that you're trending toward that can be prevented. So an annual physical is a necessary part of your health.
Is that annual physical and checkup and stuff like that, does that include the glove? Well,
For
you said
you,
the old
yes.
school, you know.
Well, actually, it does. You know, for men over a certain age, you're going to have your prostate
Absolutely.
checked. And so, if you
Let's
haven't,
be honest, yeah.
just that's the truth. I mean, we probably need to take a month and talk about prostate cancer, the screening, the risk, who needs to do that. But yeah, there's no doubt you can't go with that unchecked because it's definitely a risk for men, no doubt.
Stress seems to be a way of life for Americans today, and stress is one of the real problems in keeping ourselves healthy too.
Yeah, so our fifth one is take steps to reduce your stress.
Easier said than done.
Everybody that is looking at me through this camera right now is telling themselves they're under some amount of stress, and they are, and it's legitimate. And stress isn't just bad for here. Stress is bad for your physical health. Stress is bad for you from stem to stern, and it has negative effects on your health, your body, your well-being, everything about you. So we've got to reduce our stress, and a lot of times it is easier than we think to reduce stress, because to reduce stress doesn't mean I have to take care of every one of the problems that's causing me stress and get them checked off my list. That's not how we manage stress. How we manage stress, yeah, keep working on the stuff you got to work on, but simple activities, breathing exercises, take a 20-minute walk, even listening to certain types of music. Simple things, if you'll just take time to do, while it doesn't solve all the things you have to do, helps you up here dealing with all the things you have to do and reduces that health impact that stress has on your body.
Let me throw this. You're both in high octane positions as far as dealing with people every day. How do y'all deal with stress?
Poorly. Honestly,
Check that right there.
things like you say, you know, when I have about a 25-minute drive home every night. I'm not listening to anything. I'm driving home in silence. I got 25 minutes before I get to my family that I need to decompress. And so I actively choose to use that time as a chance to decompress before I move on to the next phase of my day, which is working with my family, dealing with family, and being what I need to be for them. And so I have to have dedicated time that I do that. And so again, it's a lot of things, it's not a specific activity so much as you have to pick something that you're mindful and regimented about. I'm going to do this at this time for this amount of time to release some of this.
Yeah. Hey, Jared, I see on Facebook a lot of times where people post and say, "I've not slept a wink all night long," and they're actually telling the truth. How important is sleep to our New Year's resolutions?
If you're a person who has trouble sleeping, then you know the answer to this question. It's extremely important. Sleep affects almost everything that has to do with your health. You could start with your immune system. You guys know this. The less you sleep, the more susceptible you are to not being able to fight off any kind of bug that you come in contact with. You're gonna get that virus. You're gonna get that bacteria that's going around because your body doesn't have the strength to handle it. Sleep is important for your mental well-being. Jake talked about stress and your mental well-being. Sleep is the exact same way. You have to get rest to be able to make it through the situations in your life. You guys understand this because sleep is something that we intuitively know. If we get enough, we feel better. If we don't, we don't. And so a good bedtime routine, maybe being careful about how much you play on your phone or your iPad or your laptop right when you get in bed. You know, maybe turning off the TV if you have one in your bedroom, getting the temperature right in your room. But we could talk in another show about all these things to help you rest better. But yeah, sleep's vital, no doubt.
One of the biggest monsters that people face is tobacco, cigarette smoking, and how can people create a plan? I mean, it's really a real problem for some people. How do they create a plan to stop smoking?
That's a good question. So our last one, our seventh one, is create a plan to stop smoking. But notice the wording. Our number 7 wasn't stop smoking, which is what I want you to do. But our number 7 was create a plan to stop smoking because it involves more than you, and it's not something you wake up one day and said, okay, I'm going to stop smoking today. We can go through this again in another episode if we need to do this, as long steps of you pick a start date, you tell everyone around you what's about to happen, you make plans for how I'm going to do about this, what method I'm going to use, what alternatives I'm going to have around to keep my mind, eyes, and cravings busy, what am I going to do? And there's a lot of things involved in that, but you have to start with a plan. You know, we say this all the time, smoking harms every organ of your body, and it's the absolute leading cause of preventable death in the United States. I mean, that's not a secret. Nobody watching me didn't know those two facts, or something similar to them. And so you have to make a plan to quit. You don't decide one day, I'm setting these things aside and I'm done. I mean, maybe somebody out there's done that, but realistically, no, that's not how it works. So, 7th resolution, make a plan to stop smoking and make a plan that you can stick with.
So we've talked about all these tips for New Year's resolutions that, and I can look at these and I can make many of these resolutions.
Sure.
And it's very difficult in keeping those resolutions. And you know, you're talking about sleeping. You know, in the business I'm in, you get a nap when you can. But sleep, you're right, it can affect you in a lot of different ways, and that'll be another show for another time. But how can we keep these resolutions, or at least some of them anyway?
Well, at least a couple of things. Number 1, and this is 2 things combined in number 1, be specific, but also be realistic. And I think a good example of this is losing weight. If you start the year by saying, I'm going to lose weight this year, what does that mean? You don't have a definition. So you want to say something along the lines of, I'd like to lose 10 pounds this year, and be realistic. If you weigh 200 pounds and you say, I want to lose 75 pounds, it's not going to happen, right? So be specific. I'd like to lose 5 pounds. I'd like to lose 10 pounds, but also be realistic. A goal you can actually get to. That's extremely important, because when you give a goal you're not going to be able to reach, then you're going to fail, then you're going to be upset, then who knows? All these other things are gonna fall apart for you. And then when you fail along the way, don't give up. Again, I promise you, I probably had 10 New Year's resolutions. I didn't count them, but I probably made 10 last week or whenever January the 1st was. And I'm sure that I've broken at least 3 of them already, maybe more than 3. But don't give up. That's the point. When you mess up, when you fail, if you go for 3 weeks eating all the foods you didn't want to eat, right? And maybe you gain 2 pounds instead of lose 2 pounds, don't give up. You got to hang in there. It's the secret to life, right? I tell my son this all the time. The secret to life is keep plugging, right? That'll solve about half the problems we all have.
Thank you both for coming this morning. Very enlightening. And if you want to talk more New Year's resolutions, these guys are the people to talk to. They're in their remodeled location. They've got the drive-through, and they want you to come by and see them. That's Jared and Jacob from our friends at Marble City Pharmacy here in Sylacauga. Don't forget about the gift shop. They've got some great sales going on right now. After Christmas, first of the year special going on right now at Marble City Pharmacy. We appreciate you both coming, and Happy New Year, and get busy on those resolutions, guys.
Happy New Year.
Guess I should make some.
We appreciate you joining for Daybreak on this Monday morning. Henry and Ella Looney from Regional Rural Bible Church and Raising a Standard is coming up next. I'm Jim Dale. Have a fantastic Monday.